Modern Mahjong's here with common questions from new players, part 1. If there's anything we missed, send us an email or a message and we'll include it in part 2. Let's start with a very common question. When can I use jokers and are there exceptions? Jokers can only be used when there's groups of 3 or more identical tiles on the card. Jokers can never be used in a pair, as a single, in a group of singles like 1, 2, 3, in the word news, which is north, east, west, and south as a group, or in the year like 2024 or next year 2025. There are no exceptions, and spacing on the card doesn't matter. So just because you're mushing certain tiles together, that doesn't make them a pung or kong or higher. The key term there is identical tiles. Moving on. Can I change my mind when discarding a tile? The answer to that is it depends. Have you already fully named it or has it touched the table? If so, you are committed to discarding the tile. That begs the question, what's fully named? 2-dot, green, east, flower, joker are all examples of fully named. 2 is not, because that could be a 2-dot, a 2-bam, or a 2-crack. Please note that we're discussing National Mahjong League rules for home games. If you're playing in a tournament, we really recommend checking the rules and asking the tournament director before you start playing, because often just naming any part of the tile is named enough for being committed to the discard. Can I exchange a joker when playing a concealed hand? The answer to this is whether you're playing a concealed hand or an exposed hand, you can always exchange a joker. And the reason for this is you're not exposing the joker when you're exchanging it. That joker is either put in the sloping part of your rack, discarded, or if it gives you Mahjong, it's a self-picked win. If you are playing an exposed hand, note that a joker cannot be added to an exposure, even if it was one made that turn or a previous turn. What about, can I call a discard and then exchange that discard for a joker? The answer to this is no, and this has been asked so many times recently. A discard can only be used for a new exposure. A discard can never be called for a joker exchange. We picture in our mind the game of Hungry Hungry Hippo, and we might be dating ourselves because I don't know if they sell that anymore, but could you imagine everybody racing to grab that discard in the center of the table? If a joker exchange gives a player Mahjong, is it self-picked? The answer to this is yes. Congratulations. A joker exchange for Mahjong is a self-pick win. The player who made the joker exchange is responsible for the move that gave them Mahjong, the joker exchange. And the player, if you're playing for money, gets paid by all, double. Is it true a player can never exchange a joker from a dead hand? So on our Facebook group, Mahjong community, we have over 45,000 and growing. We are constantly editing or going over posts, deleting incomplete or incorrect comments. And we do this because we think it's really helpful when players see the correct answer. We also delete comments that discourage other players from commenting. This is one of the most moderated questions that we get, because a lot of times we get no, yes, always, never, and it's not any of those. There are a lot of exceptions to this. Jokers may be redeemed from a dead hand if it was exposed before the hand was declared dead. And of course, the other part of this is if it was not a concealed hand. If an incorrect exposure results in a dead hand, but it's not realized until later, jokers in that exposure are not now available for redemption. So this is somewhat of a gray area because sometimes players might postpone calling a hand dead. No jokers exposed before a concealed hand is declared dead for Mahjong in error are redeemable. So let's say there is an exposure of 4 2s in both an exposed hand and a concealed hand. So it's a valid exposure at that point. If somebody then exposes their hand and it's dead because they had a prior exposure and it's a concealed hand, if there were any jokers in that otherwise valid prior exposure, that goes back into the sloping part of their rack and is not redeemable, even though it could have been used for a different hand, but it wasn't. It was used for an incorrect concealed hand. So we know that's a lot of words, and we have plenty of other videos on this in our YouTube channel. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at modernmahjong@gmail.com. Moving on. When can the Charleston be stopped? The first Charleston, right cross or over left, is mandatory unless East, who's the only player with 14 tiles, has Mahjong before the Charleston. After the first left is complete, the second Charleston can then be stopped for any reason. But once any player looks at the tiles passed to them, all passes in the second Charleston must be completed. The only times that East can declare Mahjong is either when they have a heavenly hand or at the end of both Charlestons when they have an earthly hand, or one or both Charlestons. They cannot stop the Charleston in the middle for any reason to declare Mahjong. If they have Mahjong before the first left when they could do a blind pass or the last right when they could do a blind pass, they can simply pass all three of those tiles. Both a heavenly hand and an earthly hand are considered self-picked. Congratulations to East, you're paid double. We invite you to stay connected and learn more. Our Facebook group, Mahjong Community, our YouTube channel, Modern Mahjong, and our website. And we invite you to all of our fun and exciting events that we are taking place. First up, in October on the 14th, we are heading to Orlando. Details are on modernmahjong.com. On the 21st, we're in Aventura at Pinstripes. Also details on modernmahjong.com. We're heading to Fort Lauderdale to teach on the 24th of October, and this benefits the Alzheimer's Association. As well as the next night, we're doing a sip, snack, and shop at Monkee's in Fort Lauderdale. All of these have information on modernmahjong.com, collections/our events. In November, we're doing another Meet, Eat, Play, Repeat at Pinstripes in Aventura. And we're heading to Boca on November 6th. A great game night is in store at Clive Daniel Home to benefit the Alzheimer's Association. If you're thinking of learning canasta, we invite you to check out our canasta camp. You could find details on bit.ly/canasta camp. And finally, in December, we have another Pinstripes event. More dates and locations are being added daily. If you have an event idea or you want a presentation on strategy or classes, we travel. So email us at modernmahjong@gmail.com and let's plan a fun and exciting event. We invite you to check out our website, modernmahjong.com, where we have a curated collection of Mahjong and canasta gifts and accessories on our women-owned small business. Thank you so much for your support of our visual companion guide for American Mahjong. It's available on Amazon, now in both paperback and Kindle. And if you're thinking of learning canasta, check out Modern American Canasta, the complete guide. If you've stayed this long, thank you so much for listening. We hope you found valuable information. We want people to learn the official National Mahjong League rules. This way, when they travel or play in other games, they can recognize house rules and tournament rules. We invite you to join us to discover rules, more strategies, and of course, increase your odds of winning. So if you enjoyed this, we invite you to like, comment, save, and share. We hope you have a great day and, of course, a great game.